Well, for the second day in a row, the Blue Jays get 1 run on 4 hits. That's it. So bottom line, in the last 2 games, you've combined for 2 runs on 8 hits. That sounds like a 1-game score where you lose. But no. For the Jays in the last 2 games, that's basically split in half. That is awful. The Blue Jays lose 5-1 to the New York Yankees, lose the series 3-1, and have lost their first series of the season. Now, guys, it's not any time to panic, nothing to freak out about, but the offense has dried up a little bit. And it all depends on how this team comes out of it. I mean, you take on the crazy Boston Red Sox next, so it's not going to be easy. But we've talked about hitters hitting with runners in scoring position, and that was an issue in the last game. It was an issue in Game 1, and it wasn't too big of an issue today. Why? Because the Jays really didn't get anybody on base. Luis Severino was on the mound for the Yankees. He went 7 innings, 3 hits, walked a couple. I mean, he was great. The only run he gave up, and the only run the Jays got, was a solo shot from Teoscar Hernandez. That made it a 3-1 game at one point. But Jaime Garcia was on the mound. Again, he didn't look the greatest. Gave up the home run in the first inning to Didi Gregorius. Then a double by Austin Romine in the second inning, scoring 2, and it was 3-0 early on. But he settled down a little bit. And in the 6th, the Jays got a little bit of offense with Teoscar Hernandez's home run. But after that, the Jays really don't get anything going. And then Andujar with a double in the bottom of the 6th scoring run. Gregorius hits a sacrifice fly, and that makes it 5-1, and that's all she wrote. The Blue Jays, Luis Severino, pretty much in the first 2 games against the Blue Jays this year, has done terrific. And, I mean, he's one of the premier pitchers in the game. He proved that last year, and he has continued it into this season. But what we've seen so far from the Jays is their inability to hit right now. Now, that can change at any point. We can go against Boston home at the Rogers Center and tear the ball up. Who knows? Like I said yesterday about Boston, I totally didn't even realize that they threw a no-hitter against the Red Sox. Who would have thunk that? Who also would have thunk that the Red Sox lost again today to Oakland? They lost the series to the Oakland A's. Anybody expect that? No. They go through a tough stretch. You know, like I said, let's run through a few things right here real quick. Hernandez was 2 for 4 with a run scored, an RBI, and he obviously with the home run. So he's still hitting 343 as a Blue Jay. That's great to see. Smokey got on the board. He walked once and also got a hit. He was 1 for 3. Great to see there. He had a double, but again, Jays can't cash him in. I know at one point we had 2 guys on and nobody out. Again, couldn't do anything with it. It's coming up with that 1 or 2 big hits. You know, when the Jays were down 3-0, if they could get 1 or 2 of those clutch hits, you could be either tied, you could go ahead depending on what happens, and it's a whole different ball game. But the Jays could not, and the only other guy who did get a hit, Kevin Pillar, who was 1 for 3. The rest of the team really didn't get anything going. If you're looking at the bullpen, Sanguano pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit. He was he cleaned up the inning of Jaime Garcia. Danny Barnes pitched an inning, gave up a run. It was not earned, however, on 1 hit. And he's been great all year. John Axford with a clean bottom of the 8th inning. But really, it's the Blue Jays offense, guys. And I know 9 runs and 5 runs against. Look, that's not great pitching performances either. And that sucks. But you got to move on from it. Baseball is a game where, yes, you just lost 2 in a row to the Yankees. Doesn't mean your season's over. It really doesn't. I mean, they have a day off tomorrow, a much-needed day off, because like we talked about, they're in the midst of a 20 games in 21 days, which is nuts. This is your 1 day off. They got to enjoy it. They got to rest up. They got to get healthy. We've heard some good news about Josh Donaldson. Hopefully he returns soon. But we start off the series against the Boston Red Sox on Tuesday night. It's going to kind of be a test to see really where this team actually is. Now, it's still hard for us to read because it's so early into the year, but you're playing a team who's come out of the gate real hot, a team in your division, and arguably a World Series contending team, even though they, you know, when they get in the playoffs the last 2 years, they haven't done anything. But hey, you never know. They're a good team. Rick Porcello has had a ridiculously good start to his year, 4-0 with a 1.40 ERA. He's going Game 1 against J.A Happ on Tuesday night. Game 2, Wednesday, Eduardo Rodriguez versus Aaron Sanchez. And then in the finale on On Thursday, Chris Sale versus Marco Estrada. So you got Blue Jay fans, if you were hoping about missing Chris Sale, that ain't happening. You're missing David Price, but he lost today. So put that in perspective, guys. Oakland beat Chris Sale and David Price in back-to-back days. It's the crazy thing about baseball. You never know what you're going to see from one game to the next, no matter how hot any team is. It's crazy. That's why we watch it, because it's entertaining. It's not like you're the Raptors taking on the Memphis Grizzlies at the Air Canada Center and you throttle them and they're like, was there any doubt? No. The crazy game about baseball, you never know. And for the Blue Jays, they got to get back in the win column. They got to get back into that winning way now. You can't get on an extended losing streak. You've lost 2. Wow. I'm not sure. Wow, I apologize for that. The Jays have lost 2. There we go. That's better. In a row, and they haven't done that since the start of the year against these Yankees. Now you got a 3-game series against the Red Sox. You find a way to win game 1. The confidence is back in the team. They got a win against a very good Red Sox team, and you've opened up the series on a winning note. That's going to be the key for the Jays. Can they do it? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. Is it doable? I think so. They got to put these last 2 games behind them and try and go back to what they were doing before those 2 losses, I guess, when it comes to shortening up, not looking for the big hit, just being small ball. If anybody wanted an update on Gurriel, he was 0 for 3 in the game today. Didn't strike out, but didn't get a hit at all. I don't know what the deal is with him. If Donaldson comes back, is he getting sent back down? I don't know the spiel on that whole thing. But for the Blue Jays, like we've said over and over, they got to get back in the win column. And that all starts Tuesday night, 7:07, first pitch there. Also, on Tuesday, the podcast will be uploaded to you guys Tuesday night. Not the usual Tuesday afternoon, but Tuesday night. Just giving you guys the heads up there, all right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoy this video, and you guys have enjoyed baseball being back. Hit that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below. What did you guys think of this game? Again, what have the Jays done that you have not liked over the last couple games? What can they do to improve that heading into the next series against the Red Sox? Any expectations for this 3-game set against the Red Sox? And I mean, look, the big thing is getting back in the win column. That's all there is to it. After 2, you don't want to extend this losing streak to 4 or 5 games or even 3 games, because then it just starts lingering, and we're like, we don't like this feeling. Is this what we were supposed to see this year? We don't want to think that. We know what we've seen so far. Let's get back into it, all right? So, we'll talk to you guys, like I said, Tuesday podcast edition. Link is in the description for the podcast channel. Link is also in the description for the podcast itself on iTunes. Go check that out. Twitter is also down in the description. You guys go check that one out. And we'll talk to you guys Raptors edition Wednesday, as they get 2 days off before they come back to the ACC, as the Raptors need to get back in the win column and limit the darn turnovers. All I got to say about that. We'll talk to you guys Leafs edition tomorrow night. That video will be uploaded to you guys later than normal, because I have the last indoor baseball practice before the season gets going for me. So I will be that video will be uploaded earlier than today, but it'll still be uploaded later than the actual finish of the game, like we're used to. All right. So the Leafs look to force Game 7 against the Bruins at the Air Canada Center, 7 o'clock puck drop there. And as for the Blue Jays, we'll talk to you guys Tuesday as the boys look to get back in the win column against the big Boston Red Sox. Not 1-4. I was looking at Porcello's ERA. 7:07 first pitch at the Rogers Center. Rick Porcello, J.A Happ, the pitching matchup in Game 1. As we've seen so far, when the Jays win the first game of a series, they win the series. That's what we've seen so far to start the year. Let's get into that winning way there in Game 1. Rick Porcello, J.A Happ. We'll talk to you guys then.